on this earth. And you ought to be thankful for every minute he allows us to live. I thank God for breath. I thank God for hands. I thank God for feet. I thank God mainly for this mind. Thank you for the mind. Thank you for the mind. Because the mind is so important to the worship and everything that we do. I just want to say this morning that I'm thankful. Some of you came up to me yesterday. I came in for my good friend Johnny Furr's retirement celebration on yesterday. And you don't know this, and Johnny and Minka forgot, but I don't forget the hand that feeds me. And I don't forget the bridge that brought me over. I don't ever forget that. And I want to encourage all of you not to ever forget that. But my first trip to St. Louis was after I had come on television, was for the NAACP banquet. And I met Brother Gary Boyd, who was the event planner, and we've been friends ever since. It was about 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. And then Brother Johnny Furr was the person to introduce me as the keynote speaker on that evening. And after I spoke, you just never know. You never know what God has for you. And after I spoke, he leaned over to me and he said, "Do you do this often?" I said, "I'm just getting started in it. I was on television, but I thought it was for entertainment purpose, but God had a better plan for my life. Had a better plan. He just opening the door through the television medium." And he said, "Well, as the Community Relations Director of Anheuser-Busch, we sponsor a number of events, and if I'm the sponsor, I get the opportunity to name the keynote speaker." I said, "Oh." He said, "I'd like to do that for you. I'd like to consider you, and I can put you out there." And God knows he did. About 6 or 7 engagements came just like that through Johnny Furr, a man I had never met. And I thank God for it. So, St. Louis, you hold a special place in my heart. You hold a special place in my heart. It's really simple because he brought me over here to meet his pastor. So I was like, okay, like minds and like spirits. And that's why we had a like mind and a like spirit. Because one of the things I know for sure, no matter where God takes you and how high we go or how high we think we've gone, you better not forget God. You better not forget God. And too many of us, when the Lord blesses us with a few pennies, with a dime and a nickel we can rub together without having to scrape and without having to pay Peter, rob Peter to pay Paul, but we can pay the bills and when everything's okay and we can buy a few more suits than we used to and we can go, to a few more restaurants. We think we all of that in a bag of chips. And we forget God. But my Bible says a people that forget God is dangerous. When you forget God, you're dangerous. It's a dangerous thing to forget God. I don't want to ever forget him. I thank him for my life. I thank him because the last time I stood here, I was saved. I'm saved today. The last time I stood here, I was sanctified. I'm sanctified today. I know who God is, and I know who controls my life, and I know in whom I live, move, breathe, and have my life. I know in whom I trust. I just want to encourage you to do that. One of the things I'm doing, I have a nonprofit foundation. I am on television on reruns, Direct TV, TV One. If you have TV One, Direct, Time Warner, all of them. I don't know what God's plan is for my life for the next 4 years. I've been off television, well, it's 5 now, since 2006. And I was telling the pastor, it kind of, knocked me down. I'm not going to lie. Shoot, that was a little money. Money. But the good thing about it is it didn't keep me down. And it only knocked me down for a minute because I understood that Fox was the means, but God was the source. God is the source. And that's who I rely on. And he told me that he'll supply all of my needs according to his riches in glory. And his riches are real powerful because the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. And everything that dwells therein. So I don't worry. I didn't worry. I didn't worry at all. But I wanted to go to work because I've never been without working since I was 16 years old. And so then finally when I relaxed in it, I was like, how many people have the opportunity not to work when they're in their late 50s and early 60s? How many people? And I never thought I would have that opportunity either. I'm planning for, retirement at 65, 70, but I didn't think I'd have an opportunity not to work that young. And so I said, that's interesting. sing. I've never known what it's like to be at home all day and to go to the mall at 12 o'clock and to go to the market at 8 o'clock in the morning and, to go to the movies at, the matinee. I hadn't been to a matinee since I was a child. I'm at work matinee hours, But then I got to be a senior on top of it, so I got a discount. I said, all right, I feel like it. But sometimes when things hit us like the economy is down and all of that, and we sing the song, the economy is down, we don't have enough pay, but God can do it. You got to learn to trust and really believe that with all of your heart and with all of your might. And when things happen to you, just instead of complaining and moaning, just ask God, what is this message for me? Because when I finally relaxed in God and realized, all right, this is it, I'm unemployed. I was telling Pastor, I had to have surgery, and there was something going on in my body that I hadn't even taken the time to find out and didn't know what was happening. But that surfaced when I didn't have that job. So I had to have surgery, didn't have to get off of work. All right? I was able to do that, relax, and recuperate without worrying about, oh, my goodness, I only get 2 weeks off from work, and I got to go back because vacation pay is only for this, only for that. I was able to recuperate as long as I needed to. That was a blessing. Then my mother, whom I love very dearly, and you all heard me talk about her on the television show, my mother became completely bedridden. And I was able to care for her from 2006 to the day she died, February 9, 2010, right by her bedside, in her bedroom. She died, took her last breath. I woke up and said, Mom. And I praise God for that opportunity to care for my mother. Because I promised her that. Mama worked hard to get me to college and to make my life better. And I promised her that she would never go to anybody's rest home. I promised her that strangers wouldn't care for her. And my brother and I kept that promise to my mother. And I didn't have a problem washing her, bathing her, feeding her. I thank God. I thank God. I thank God. I'm going to tell you something, people. Show your love for your family now. One thing I hate, I told all my brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and cousins that love grandma, love mama stuff, I said, let me tell you something. Every one of you that haven't come over here to give her a glass of water in the last 4 years, if you have come over here to walk her outside, to get some sunshine, to push her out in the wheelchair, I dare you to fall out of that casket. I dare you. I dare you. Don't go there with me, don't play. I'm telling you now, I'm going to sit you down because it's just a show. You better do what you can for your parents and show them that you love them now. Now is the time. Do all you can. And when you do for others, not just your parents, the mentor program they were talking about yesterday, not just your parents, but young people in the community, old people in the community, your sisters, your brothers, this selfishness that we black people and others have come into is just ridiculous. We've got to the point where it's my fault and no more. You see your brother and sister in need, you won't do anything for them. And yet you say you're a Christian. But last time I read the Bible, it says that how you going to call yourself a Christian and say you love me, whom you've not seen, and you shut up your bowels of compassion against your brothers and sisters whom you see every day. You shut up your bowels of compassion. And then the word says, how can you say it? It says, you a lie. It says you lie when you say that you love me, who you not seen, and you love not your brothers and sisters. And that's not just your natural brothers and sisters. That's whomever you see that have a need. And we have to reach back and begin to do that all over again. This church house is full, and it looks really good. But the real work of the church is outside these four walls. It's outside of these four walls. And the real work of the church is to teach, to reach, to guide. Not just by talk, but by precept and example. Parents got to start being parents again and teaching and showing by example. Pastors and preachers got to start being preachers again and teaching and showing by example. And your lifestyle, has to show that there's a difference between clean and unclean. between holy and unholy. And the Bible says, be ye holy, for I am holy. God bless you.
Hello. How are we going?
The door of the church is open.